again, as ever with XFM listeners, don't believe what they say, don't trust what they say. But one of them...
have we got any respect for anyone in the world?
Get back to you. I'd just like to justify why we don't tend to correspond or interact with the listeners. Here's a typical email from Vicky, age 25. She asks, do you ski? Rick, that's her question.
No, I
do you ski, yes or no?
No, I don't.
No, you don't. Right, there you are. Thanks, Vic. Brilliant. Keep those coming in.
That's the cliche of XFM listeners, and I know they're more intelligent than that.
They're not, Rick. They're stupid people. They're stupid people, and they only know about a few things.
Have you seen an XFM listener up close? Have you ever looked?
They drink milk from a saucer.
Yeah, they've got to be kept on leads. People who listen to this show.
People are phoning in about anything now, Rick.
Yeah.
We asked them to phone in about the jar thing. Switchboard lit up. It's crazy. You ask them to phone in about, like, you know, something sensible, like Che Guevara, or, you know, the life of...
I know about that.
There's nothing.
That is really a demographic sort of snapshot of our fans.
Our audience.
Ask them about a dead baby without a brain.
Oh, yeah.
And they're reaching with their phones. They don't mind what their bill is that much.
We ask them for, you know, I don't know, great quotes or something from the great philosophers. Nothing.
They're just
ask them
at
where
the
to
phone.
buy, meths. Straight on the phone. What do you want from us?
Just see if
One
someone's on the
of the
phone.
most incredible rock and roll tunes ever laid down on vinyl, and you're whinging?
I know.
Because you'd rather have our inane banter. What kind of a person are you?
No, they'd rather have Carl's inane banter.
clearly.
Have
Well, I
you
know how
seen
you
the
work.
XFM listeners? Well, of course they're the same as Carl.
Sure.
Of course they've got the same mindset.
Yeah, and I don't think our listeners are into that stuff. I just don't think they can be bothered to get to the phone. I don't think a lot of them are able. I think a lot of them are, you know.
Do you remember when?
I think the people that we had in the early days, Rick, they've long since abandoned us. They jumped ship.
They've got jobs.
Yeah.
They've got jobs. They're out now. They've been released.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're getting their life back together.
Do we need to give out the numbers and
Well,
stuff?
can email,
Don't get
can't
them to
they?
phone in. You don't want to talk to him, Ian, seriously.
Even our listeners know you're talking rubbish, and some of those aren't allowed to wear socks.
Well, if you're one of our listeners, perhaps if you know somebody who finished school, you could maybe pop next door, get them. Piss off!
You can't say that to our public.
Yes, I can.
Because they're a little bit more discerning than that, Steve.
Have you heard the questions? They don't know what they're talking about.
Why have we ever trusted our listener? We know what they're like. You've just described some of them with a bloke in Waitrose and Columbo's wife shitting herself. So that's the sort of people that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I would imagine a lot of the sort of losers that listen to our show
What's the march
probably
about?
also agree that they should go and protest about a war.
Someone just emailed in and said, just want to know what you think of that cover of Wonderwall.
We told you. We said it was great.
Yeah.
Listen. The reason our listener show went up is that just tells you who's listening to us. Cowards, yellow bellies, children, women,
People with fallen arches.
terrorists.
We're really alienating our listeners
Yeah,
now, aren't we?
nice
We're going, we don't care what you think, go and buy it. We're going to play what we want and we don't care.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of listeners that we've got. That's the calibre of listener we've got. This is an arbitrary email sent by one of our listeners. You know what Ricky and I think of them.
Just worry about the state of our listeners. Go on. What's the number?
No, let's email only. We don't want to speak to these freaks.
So, I don't know who's more stupid in the end, you or the listeners.
Well, you may, you know, I get the feeling that our listeners, they just don't appreciate the fact that we've gone to all this trouble. We've got the Homer Simpson drawing and things like that. I just feel like these people don't deserve it. Do you know what? It's weird. I just wish we had a better quality of listener. People who listen to Radio 2, they deserve it. You know, they're elderly and infirm. Some of them, it would really cheer them up. But our lot, you know, drug addicts,
Yeah, let me pick
you
it
know,
out.
truck drivers.
I don't think XFM gets new listeners because I think what happens is, the reason it goes down just very slightly each time is that their old listeners die.
Yeah.
You know, old
Definitely.
Cure fans dying of...
Yeah, you know, smack addictions.
gout.
Yeah.
The contempt we have for our poor listeners
But
is
the truth is,
unbelievable.
the listeners aren't... I mean, I can see why you cut him off.
Stop it.
Man
Right.
alive.